If you're of the 90s generation, the golden era of rap, what you find more annoying about the music today isn't the music, but it's every time an artist gets into a radio station and denounces the music of your time. Especially if you're an older artist, then you understand that music is music, it's all subjective, so it's not the music that you hate. It's what they have to say about the music of your time. You have this interview here with Fat Joe, with Ebro, and they're discussing the rappers of this generation, and this is what Fat Joe had to say.
It gets woven in the fabric permanently.
When you hear all these little kids now who doing hip-hop music, those is all Lil Wayne's flows.
Yes.
Every last
Lil
one.
Uzi Vert EXO Tour Life is Wayne.
Is a bad version of Lil Wayne. It's not as good as Lil Wayne. I'm going to just be honest with you.
And he
it's good,
talent.
and I like his songs.
Yes.
Lil Uzi, I got nothing but love for you. You know what I'm saying? He ain't as good as Lil Wayne.
Okay.
That's impossible. Lil Wayne was considered, he's one of the greatest, he's a GOAT.
Yeah.
Not only that, he was lyrically considered the best rapper on earth for a couple of years.
Yes.
Lil Uzi Vert ain't gonna get that.
Okay, just one thing before we climb back into the subject. This idea of Lil Wayne being the greatest rapper alive, remember, that was a marketing ploy. Okay, that was a genius marketing ploy that Wayne used to embed himself into the conversation as the greatest. Guess what? Lil Wayne is still alive, but I don't think most people would agree that he is the best current rapper, because there still are legitimately 5, 6, 7, 8 people ahead of him, and most people would make that argument that these particular artists are ahead of him. So he's not even in my top 5, let alone to be considered the greatest of all time. It was just a mantra. It was something that came along with Lil Wayne's name. It's like mentioning Mike Jones, and then all of a sudden Mike Jones's phone number goes off into your head. That's all it was. He just linked one to the other. What you have to pay attention to that clip also is the fact that Ebro mentioned Lil Uzi's name. It wasn't Fat Joe, because you somehow got the indication that this was a personal attack against Lil Uzi Vert, when it was just simply Ebro putting his name into the conversation, and Lil Uzi just represented the entire generation. You cannot have it both ways if you are the older generation of rappers. And yes, I will point the blame at the older generation in this situation. The reason being is that I'm more than sure that if there was an interview where, like many have, said things like, I don't listen to Biggie, I don't listen to Tupac, I don't listen to this rapper, I don't listen to that rapper, I'm more than sure Fat Joe would probably say, well, you should, because music was better those days, they were more impactful, the 90s was the golden era. It's what all older people say. So that same person would make the comment that he just made. But that doesn't make any sense, because you can't expect someone to listen or to enrich themselves in a certain era of music and not be heavily influenced by it. You can't point fingers at Lil Uzi Vert when you would probably point fingers at Lil Uzi Vert if he didn't listen to Lil Wayne. So he's dead either way. It's a double-edged sword for him. And by the way, this never gets underscored enough when a younger artist actually praises the quote-unquote golden era, because just last month you had an interview with Famous Dex.
Yeah. How that song come on? No, I think. Oh, no, I'm dreaming.
And yeah, hey, look, we can have a conversation for how high he was during the interview, but nonetheless, he had something to say that was a little different from the narrative that you normally hear.
Hell yeah, you got to get. It won't be no Dex if it wasn't no Nas. You can't, if you don't respect the OGs, then fuck you. You gotta respect Snoop, Ice Cube. Come on. We speaking facts, right? You gotta respect Wu-Tang. You gotta respect them. Mobb Deep, you gotta respect that. Redman, Method Man, you gotta respect them. Come on. No, we speaking facts, bro.
Let's read off the names that he listed. Nas, Snoop, Ice Cube, Wu-Tang, Mobb Deep, Redman, and Method Man. See, it wasn't just like Dex said you have to respect Tupac, because that's always the blanket. It's always either Biggie or Tupac. That's supposed to somehow represent an entire generation. The left side, the right side, the East and the West. That covers everything. But he went more in detail. He didn't mention anybody from the South. I'm not sure where Famous Dex is from, but he didn't mention anybody from the South. But he went deeper. He went deeper with Mobb Deep. So he really touched that hip-hop head, that hoodies and Timbs boom bap fan. And it goes unnoticed. No one gives a shit about it. But when XXXTentacion comes up on the mic and says he is better than Tupac or greater than Tupac, and Tupac is not a revolutionary, and listen, XX is saying that Joyner Lucas is a revolutionary and Tupac isn't. I mean, to even begin to explain why that's so incorrect would be a waste of time. But the only thing that I should indicate is that he's making it seem like I'm Not Racist is one of the most earth-shattering records that we've ever heard, and it is not. Joyner Lucas has probably had more powerful songs before that song. That's just simply his most powerful, well, not his most powerful, his more popular social commentary record. So that probably just shows you how much XXX doesn't even know about Joyner Lucas, let alone the subject of being the revolutionary and what it means and how it transcends music. But he hasn't even understood the music aspect of it. So that shows you how off base he is. But you can't have it both ways if you are an older artist. You can't blame the old generation for not listening to the music. And then if they listen to the music, they are then influenced by it, and then you blame them for it. I don't think this is something that has never happened before. I think the only thing is that rappers who, for example, in the 80s, outside of maybe Slick Rick, outside of a Flavor Flav, maybe somebody else who I'm not, outside of somebody like Humpty, for example, didn't have a prop or didn't have a certain hairstyle, didn't have something that made them discernible from everyone else. So maybe it gave you the impression that people weren't siphoning personalities or siphoning styles from other people because the look of everything was pretty much the same. I mean, you take a look at Rakim and you take a look at Nas, and there is nothing about their look that really sets them aside. I mean, did Lil Wayne influence them to the point that now they look like, I mean, does the Famous Dex look like Lil Wayne for a reason? Does Lil Uzi Vert look like him for a reason? Does Trippie Redd look like him for a reason? Probably. But that's because Wayne set himself aside with that particular thing. It's a lot harder to detect somebody like Rakim because that goes into lyricism. That goes into digging into somebody stylistically. But I don't think you can listen to the records of these younger artists and say that they are just completely ripping it off of Lil Wayne. That's just aesthetics. That's just what they look like. And it's very easy to critique them from afar. But what do you guys think about this situation? Do you feel like Lil Uzi Vert and the artists today are Lil Wayne clones? Or does Fat Joe have more of a responsibility in this situation to give him some leadway? Please let me know in the comment section below, and do not forget to like this video because it helps me out so very much. Please let me know in the comment section below, and I will see you guys next time.
Jay-Z will give you that, you know what I'm saying, that calm, you argue that energy. I got that, you feel me? Boom. But Jay-Z more of that, you go get them, you know what I'm saying? You go, get your grown man on, you feel me? Exactly.